You're a writer, actor, producer, and now director. How do you juggle it all?
The trick is to not do them at the same time. You know, compartmentalize it. I'm not a great multitasker. I can barely walk and breathe at the same time. So what I have to do is write a film in seclusion and just do that. And then when you finish, you take that hat off and then do the directing side of it. And sort of, you know, you need to separate everything, or at least I do. Maybe there's some more talented people who can do all those things at once. But for me, I definitely need to compartmentalize all these different things.
But obviously you do act in the film as well, so how was
that one was hard. I mean, that was, you know, if I directed another film, I'm not sure I would act in it, you know, because directing just takes so much of your attention, especially early on when you haven't made a film or haven't made many films. You really want to give the job your full attention. So probably I would want to direct for a bit longer before I took on a big acting role in a film that I was in.
Insidious 2 ended on a cliffhanger, but Insidious 3 is a prequel. What made you go back to the beginning and not continue on from the end of 2?
Well, I really wanted to deal with Lin Shaye. You know, her character of Elise was a beloved character. You know, the fans of the first 2 movies really like her. I love working with her. She's a great human being and a great actress. And so I wanted the film to be about her. And I didn't want to be dealing with the ghost version of her. You know, in Insidious 2, we had her in the film. She was just lurking around as this ghost. And I didn't like that. You know, Lin as a person is so full of life. She's such a kind of, you know, effervescent person who's bouncing off the walls, and she's got a lot of ideas, a lot of energy. That's what I wanted to capture. So I really needed her to be alive. And that's the reason we did a prequel.
Are there going to be any more films in the series?
I have no idea. Like, I need to wait until this film comes out and see how it does before I think about that. I think it's not only a business decision, but also kind of a superstitious decision. I'm kind of that person who, if when I was auditioning, if I would go for an audition and then get a call back, I'd wear the same underwear. Like, I'm that person. I'm very superstitious, so I can't talk about the sequel, you know, to myself until this is all done.
Children are a very big focus in the Insidious series and your upcoming film, Cooties. What is it about children that is so important to your stories?
I really don't know. That might be a subconscious thing, you know. I think children are really able to tap into what's scary really easily. They still have that childlike sense of wonder. There's no cynicism or disbelief. You know, a child accepts what they see, and so it's kind of fun to you know, work with in the sense of a horror film, because there's no questions about what's happening. You know, a lot of times with adult characters, the rationale has to come into it. The whole, well, what's really happening? You know, adults are always looking for the wizard behind the average guy behind the curtain who's pretending to be the wizard, whereas a child just sees the wizard, and, you know, that's really fun.
Where can I get a Masters of the Universe t-shirt?
We actually had that made. I wish I knew. I am a big Masters of the Universe fan. I think I need to start proclaiming that love more. Maybe I can be campaigning to direct the Masters of the Universe.
They're doing a
film.
remake. You know,
they are doing the remake?
Yeah.
You know, even as a kid, I have to say I was disappointed by the Dolph Lundgren version, because they left Eternia.
Yeah.
You know, why you don't bring the Masters of the Universe to Earth? You keep them up in their, up on their planet.
Yeah, it's a cult classic though. You can't fault it.
Yeah, it is a cult classic. I'm not going to mess with Dolph Lundgren, by the way.
The horror genre has had something of a bit of a resurgence the last year, like films like Starry Eyes, Babadook, It Follows. What have been your favourites over the last 12 months or so?
Well, you named some of them already. Like, I love the Babadook being Australian. I love that there was such a unique horror film being made in Australia, being directed and written by a woman, you know, which is something we need to see more of in the horror genre. I loved It Follows. I did love Starry Eyes as well. I mean, those 3 films that you mentioned, I think the reason a lot of people are reacting to them, not just fans but critics, is that they're artful films. You know, they're showing that horror films can be credible. You know, they don't have to be these throwaway, disposable kind of B-movie. You know, I think that the horror genre became marginalized in the 80s and 90s. you know, in the video store era, there was a lot of straight-to-video horror films, but, you know, horror films can be just as beautiful and as artful as a drama, and so I think a film like It Follows or The Babadook really reminds people of that.
And my mum will kill me if I don't ask, any more Saw films?
Not that I know of. I'm sure there will be one day. I mean, I know there's a lot of enthusiasm out there for them, and there's a lot of fans kind of demanding another Saw film. And I think that the studio hears that. They're not, you know, deaf to those cries. But there's nothing in the works right now.
My mum will actually be genuinely gutted. On to a couple of readers' questions.
Yep.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do, but I haven't seen one.
When did Specs and Tucker meet?
They met, Specs was writing a zine and Tucker came to talk to him about it, you know, a zine about the paranormal. So I guess they kind of met maybe at like a zine convention.
And which of yours and James's creations are you happiest with? I guess that's sort of like picking your kids.
Picking the favourite child. I mean, I really do love Insidious. You know, Saw will always have this really special nostalgic value for me because it was the first thing we did. I'm going to go with Saw, the first film, only because it's the film where we were introduced, you know, to the world. This was a goal we'd been chasing for so long. And so that's a quality that film has that I'll never be able to get back again, you know.